Randy Fine's not an American. He's just an Israeli agent inside of America, a disgusting genocidal pig who works for a different country who says we should murder all Muslims.
I'll say something that really the president of Egypt first said, al-Sisi. He said there needs to be a reformation of Islam. A reformation of Islam which accepts Israel as a Jewish state, which no longer promotes violence and terrorism, which so many of the imams promote, and nobody wants to talk about. They're afraid of being called Islamophobic.
I'm not afraid of that. I don't know how you make peace with those who seek your destruction. I think you destroy them first. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
During a congressional hearing earlier this week, Representative Randy Fine suggested yet again that mainstream Muslims should be destroyed, after openly admitting he's okay with being called Islamophobic. And we'll get into more momentarily, but Cenk, before we jump in, your 2 cents.
Yeah, first I just want to reverse what that brother who was apparently having issues staying in human form was saying. So there needs to be a reformation of Judaism so that Jewish people don't promote violence and terrorism like Israel's been doing. And since they're seeking the destruction of the Palestinians, we should obviously destroy Israel first. Now, if he had actually said that, all I'm doing is substituting Jewish and Israeli for Muslim and Palestinian, obviously he would have been immediately censured. He would have been fired from his job. Might have even been arrested these days. But you say it about Muslims, no one even notices. And what's important, guys, is you're gonna see in this story is when asked to clarify if Randy Fine really meant all Muslims, he basically said yes, as you're gonna see. And I'm amazed by the reaction. I shouldn't be amazed at this late date, but we'll show you the reaction as well, which, spoiler alert, not much.
Yeah. Well, on Tuesday, the House Foreign Affairs, Middle East and North Africa Subcommittee held a hearing titled Understanding Judea and Samaria, Historical, Strategic, and Political Dynamics in US-Israel Relations. And this is how self-proclaimed Islamophobe Randy Fine decided to start his 5 minutes.
In 1948, 2 states were created as the British left that part of the world. There was an Arab state in Jordan, and there was a Jewish state in Israel. But the Arabs could not be content with those 2 states. They decided they wanted to have one, and a war broke out, a war that has gone and starts and stops ever since. Now, rather than call themselves Jordanians, they invented a new name, the name of Palestinians, to try to imply a 3rd state should be created. And in 1967, that war that started in 1948 continued, and Israel won territory back from the Jordanians. Now, in the United States, when we fought wars and we have won territory, we generally keep it. And that's typically the way the world works. But somehow when it comes to Israel, and it comes to the Jews, when they win a war that they don't start, somehow it is they are supposed to give back the land that they have thus won.
Now, Fine went on to argue that a 3-state solution has already been tested with the gracious creation of Gaza.
But nonetheless, Israel has gone along with this fiction and tried to create not a 2nd state, but a 3rd state. It was tried in 2005 in Gaza, when not only did Israel make Gaza Judenrein, they not only removed every living Jew from Gaza, they dug up dead Jews to take them away. And they said, here you go, Gaza, enjoy your border with Egypt, enjoy your access to the ocean, go live long, prosper, turn yourself into a Dubai or a UAE. And we saw how that worked out. Water pipes, instead of being used to make water, were turned into rockets. Concrete, instead of being used to create schools, were turned into tunnels. So despite the fact there effectively was a 3rd state, the state of Gaza, we saw how that turned out.
And of course, we know that's bogus, but if all of that wasn't enough, Fine went on to argue there is apartheid in Israel, but it's being imposed on them. And Jews are banned from the West Bank. Take a look.
We hear about the apartheid state of Israel, and it is partly true. There is apartheid in Israel. I want to tell you, as I was driving through Judea and Samaria, a sign that I saw, I can't find it real quick, but it basically said, in this area, Jews may not enter. This is a part of the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, whatever you want to call it. And the sign literally says in English, in Hebrew, and in Arabic, Jews may not go here. I'm not aware of anywhere that is controlled by Israel where they say Arabs cannot go, where they say Christians cannot go. So my question, I guess, to you, Mr. Klein, is when you are dealing with a group of people who continually call for the destruction of the state of Israel, who are okay with signs that say Jews may not enter these areas, we want to be free of Jews, how do you make peace with that? How do you create a long-term solution with that? Or is there another way that we have to go?
So we'll get into a full breakdown of all of this, but let's see how Mr. Morton Klein, the president of the Zionist Organization of America, how he responded. And he has called for the profiling of Muslims in the US. Take a look.
The reason Jews are not permitted to go there is because there's a huge likelihood that they'll be murdered by Arabs who live there. Arabs can walk anywhere they want. There's no problem, no danger.
Oh, no danger. That's news to the rest of the world. But let's take a look at these actual signs. This road leads to Area A under the Palestinian Authority. The entrance for Israeli citizens is forbidden, dangerous to your lives, and is against the Israeli law. Now, these signs were erected by the IDF around the Second Intifada to warn Israeli settlers against entering these areas for safety concerns, even though the settlers are the ones wreaking havoc on Palestinian villages. We've seen video after video, story after story for years of the violence they are inflicting. But another thing to note, where does it say Jews? It doesn't. They're lying. And to really drive it home, an IDF spokesperson even confirmed to the Jerusalem Post earlier this year, the law against entering Palestinian villages in Area A applies to all Israelis, not just Jews like he claims. And obviously the law isn't even really being enforced, going back to the settler violence. Now, to Klein's point about Palestinians being able to walk wherever they want, does he not know the reality of the yellow line? Sometimes the yellow line is marked by concrete blocks or metal pipes stuck in the ground, and sometimes there is no physical marking at all. An activist with a local rescue organization told Haaretz, especially around the eastern villages, the land is open and abandoned, and residents do not know where they are allowed to walk and where a hidden rifle is aimed at them. Fadi Abu Asi, 10, and his brother Juma, 12, died not far from their temporary home in the town of Bani Suela in the southern Gaza Strip. It happened in an open area that was once used for agriculture, where children used to chase goats or simply play. Now the area is called the Yellow Line, and the Israel Defense Forces applies a shoot first, ask questions later policy there. Now, these two kids were allegedly over the Yellow Line while collecting wood and were gunned down by an Israeli drone. But obviously, Islamophobe Randy Fine and Morton Klein don't care about any of that. Randy Fine even highlighted his destroy them first quip on X. He's proud of it, Cenk. What do you make of this interaction, this idea that Gaza is some luxurious third state for Palestinians, and that really this idea of apartheid is ultimately to the detriment of Israelis?
Okay, so Fine and Klein are gigantic liars. They're propagandists for Israel who want to trick Americans into sending tens of billions of dollars to their beloved Israel, which they actually serve. They're both genocidal freaks. So let's break down their lies one by one. Jordan already did a lot of it, but let me address some of the most egregious ones. So not only can you not go past the yellow line, Klein said there is no place in Israel or in anywhere in the occupied territories where Arabs couldn't go. What a comical lie. What a preposterous lie. The only reason you would say something like that is if you think I own this place, and so no one will be able to counter my lies, and I'll just be able to say them. No, there's tons and tons of places you can't go if you're Arab in Israel. There's nothing but walls and barriers, and it takes forever to get anywhere because you need permission from the Israelis to go anywhere in the occupied territories, let alone inside Israel. I mean, everyone knows that. If you're watching that from Israel, you have to be thinking, that's amazing. Our guys get to lie in American Congress in the most outrageous ways. We own the place, no one even challenges them, right? So, and that's like that's already the state of affairs for 58 brutal years under this occupation. But on top of that, they added the yellow lines where if you cross a yellow line, which is often not in the real world, you have to go on the internet, and they don't have so most of the kids there, they don't have cell phones. Are you insane? So they don't even know where the frickin' line is. The minute they cross it, Israel murders them, murders children, women, it doesn't matter. Remember, earlier they had kill zones. Remember when they killed the 4 Israeli hostages that had escaped? And their answer was like, well, dude, they were in a kill zone. We didn't know they were Israelis and were precious human beings. We thought they were just Muslims, so we massacred them like we always do. I mean, they have areas called kill zones. And these 2 giant, disgusting liars are going, oh, Arabs can go anywhere in Israel. No, the poor Israeli Jews, they're the ones that are put upon in Israel. I mean, they have no shame at all. Who put up the sign? The Israelis put up the sign. And Randy Fine is like, oh, they won't even let Jews go there. Who's they? It's you idiot. That's your own government. And yes, Randy Fine's not an American. He's just an Israeli agent inside of America, a disgusting genocidal pig who works for a different country who says we should murder all Muslims. Because I want to, okay, so I got more to break down, but let's go back to that tweet because I don't want you to miss this and understand why, among the many reasons why I'm so mad at Randy Fine. Look at Representative Fine on how to deal with mainstream Muslims. He's tweeting this. And he doesn't clarify Palestine. Even if he said in Palestine or in Gaza, it would already be like the equivalent of Goebbels and Hitler. But he's not saying that. He's saying murder them all, mainstream Muslims everywhere. He says, quote, I don't know how you make peace with those who seek your destruction. I think you destroy them first. And 3 fire emojis so you understand. No, I mean burn them alive, like when Israel drops 2,000-pound bombs or any bombs, and we light their children on fire. And Randy Fine's like, yes, murder, murder, murder. On behalf of Americans, pay for the murder. You owe Israel. Pay for us to murder their children. And now he's saying mainstream Muslims overall. So I guess he wants me murdered. What a sick, disgusting terrorist that's in our Congress. And he's stealing your money every single day. Give money to Israel, give money. 31 billion in the middle of a genocide. We haven't murdered enough Palestinian kids. I want to murder all the Muslims, Randy Fine says. He literally says it, he literally says it. So look, I keep break down every single lie they said, all this ridiculous made up history. 3 states, what the hell is he talking about? Oh, the Arabs wouldn't accept that we took half their land and then all of their land. And of course, we won them in wars. So you're admitting, yeah, you attacked them, you murdered them, and you stole their land. Thank you for the confession, you terrorist sick pig, okay? And then what's amazing is the reaction, Jordan. None. There's been no reaction. That story's not on cable news. No one in traditional media is talking about it. If a mainstream, if any congressperson, forget Rashida Tlaib, forget anyone has written how to deal with mainstream Jews. I don't know how you make peace with those seeking your destruction. And Israel literally seeks the destruction of the people of Gaza. Randy Fine is saying that he loves the idea of destruction of the people of Gaza. And not only that, the destruction of all Muslims. Anyway, if they said about mainstream Jews, I don't know how you make peace with those who seek your destruction. You destroy the Jews first. What would have happened? Everybody would have freaked out, rightfully so. Are you kidding me? That's an outrageous, atrocious thing to say. But apparently, if you say it about Jews, maybe if you say it about Christians, that's a huge, huge problem. You say it about Muslims, and everyone on cable news, everyone in the New York Times, everyone in the Washington Post, every so-called reporter, every sick, disgusting politician in Washington is like, oh, no big deal. Oh yeah, one of our guys says, one of the guys says America owes Israel a genocide, 8 genocides, 12 genocides. We should get to murder all the Muslims. And I'm not bothered by it. Yeah, that's okay. Randy Fine, yeah. Make Americans to pay for all the murder of mainstream Muslims. So, okay, who runs this place? This is a joke. This is the most obvious thing in the world, who runs this place. If, like, there's this hilarious propaganda that they're putting out there now. Oh, and one of their, we'll do this story another time, but one of their so-called influencers put out a video about, well, it's getting hard to get Americans to just support Israel for Israel's sake, because there's no need to, there's no reason to at all. So she's like, so what we're doing is now we're making them hate Muslims and realize that they should pay for us to kill Muslims. But there's no consequences ever. If you said it about Jews, you said it about Israel, there would be massive consequences, right? So obviously, Israel runs Congress. Israel runs cable news. It's super obvious. And now that with that propaganda of, oh no, the real problem is the Muslims. Oh, you should hate the Muslims, right? And they layer on top of that, Muslims are trying to take over America. Are you kidding me? If Muslims were taking over America, would we allow Randy Fine to say we should murder all Muslims? No. You know why Randy Fine can say that? There's not a single consequence. It's because Muslims have zero power in America, zero. Whereas Israel supporting radical terrorists have enormous power, enormous power. If you haven't condemned Randy Fine, you're a monster if you work in media or politics. You're a dentist, that's not your problem, okay? But so Jake Tapper, Dana Bash, where are you guys? You love this terrorist pig, don't you? You love that he's calling for a genocide of me and all mainstream Muslims. You don't mind it at all. It didn't even cross your radar. You're like, yeah, Tuesday, so what? So what? Did you say something about Israel, you anti-Semite? Let's have congressional hearings. Come on. So you could call me any names you like. Go ahead, put me on any list you like. But I'm done with all the lies on behalf of Israel. They donate to 90% of Congress. That 90% of Congress votes for Israel 100% of the time. We are in occupied territory. America does not control its own government anymore. They allow monstrous terrorists like Randy Fine to run roughshod in our Congress. What are we doing a hearing about Judea and Samaria? That is the equivalent of saying from the river to the sea. That's saying the West Bank and the Gaza Strip are part of greater Israel. They're part of Judea and Samaria. So if you call them Judea and Samaria, that means you think that the Israelis have a right to that place. So they should drive out 5.5 million Palestinians, an even bigger ethnic cleansing than what they just did in Gaza, to be able to steal that land. And they're having hearings about it. They literally call it Judea and Samaria hearings. So they're like, our Congress, completely and utterly controlled by Israel, is now rubbing it in Muslim Americans' faces. This idea that we sold you that this is America and there's a constitution and you're all equal. We were kidding. Israel runs the place. If you're Muslim, we're gonna talk about how you should all be murdered and nobody's gonna give a damn. They're gonna greet it with thunderous applause. But if you dare say one thing about our beloved Israel, that's it, we're gonna destroy your reputation. I'm sick of these liars who work for a different country. If Randy Fine gets reelected, we should all be embarrassed about this country. That's voters saying, yeah, everyone should bow their heads and no one should work for America. You should all work for Israel and for the destruction and murder of Muslims. And if you're offended by anything I've said, F you. I'm offended by you. I'm offended by you not being irate over Randy Fine. Look, again, guys, I'm not talking about real people, okay? I'm not talking about the average guy. The average guy, Republican, Democrat, etc., are good people, moral people, and they don't want this. They don't want this on their conscience. They don't want this as a moral stand on America, and they certainly don't want to pay for it. I'm talking about the most disgusting people in the country, which is almost everyone who works in national media and almost every politician in Washington. They all serve Israel, they're all disgusting, and they all support the terrorism of Israel and the robbing of America on behalf of Israel. And now apparently none of them mind the mass murder of mainstream Muslims in America and throughout the world. So the next time they talked about anti-Semitism and bigotry, understand they're giant liars. They don't care about bigotry at all. If you talk about bigotry about Muslims, they love it. They love that bigotry. They don't care at all. They haven't objected to Randy Fine at all, okay? They only care if you talk about my people are important, they say. Your people are useless, they should be slaughtered. Well, okay, then F you back. Then F you back. And don't tell me that you're offended. I don't give a goddamn that you're offended. Good, I want you to be offended. You might feel 1% of what a Muslim American feels every time every son of a bitch on cable news and every son of a bitch in Congress goes, oh, killing Muslims, that's awesome. Hey, Harry, Sally, Bob, Susie in America, give me your wallets, give me your wallets. Israel needs to murder more Muslims and take more land. And talk about in Congress how we should murder them all. They're all sick, disgusting hypocrites. When they say anti-Semitism, understand they don't give a damn about bigotry, not 1%. All they care about is protect beloved Israel. Israel is above all. Bow down, America, bow down, Muslims. All of cable, all of media, all of Congress. I hope that was clear enough. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.